The fake pregnancy trap. They say the truth will set you free. But in Julian's cold, calculated world, the truth was a luxury he simply couldn't afford anymore. He stood frozen, halfway out the door, his heavy leather suitcase packed tight with the bitter remnants of a hollow, 3-year silken prison that had slowly bled him dry. Then, the words fell from Elena's trembling lips like a heavy steel guillotine, slicing through the thick tension with a terrifying finality. I'm pregnant. In that agonizing heartbeat, the glowing exit sign of his long-awaited freedom flickered, sparked, and died in the darkness. He didn't drop his keys out of a sudden surge of love or some rekindled flame. He stayed out of a sense of duty to a phantom, anchoring his weary soul to a ghost that didn't even exist. He was a prisoner once again, trapped by the rhythmic pulse of a heartbeat that was nothing more than a hollow whisper in a meticulously woven web of lies. For 6 agonizingly long months, Julian endured a masterclass in manipulation. Curated cravings for exotic fruits at midnight, perfectly timed displays of staged morning sickness, and a string of doctor's appointments she conveniently and fiercely insisted on attending alone. Elena played the role of the radiant, glowing mother-to-be with the chilling, seamless precision of an Oscar winner. Yet the designer nursery was nothing more than a hollow shrine to a grand, unfolding deception. Every polished crib slat and hand-stitched silk blanket served as a tactical brick in a rising, invisible wall she was meticulously building to keep him caged forever in her suffocating orbit. But Julian was no longer just a husband blinded by hope. He had evolved into a cold, clinical detective haunting the halls of his own home. He began to obsess over the silent, echoing voids where life should have been. The glaring absence of printed sonograms on the fridge, and the firm, guarded bump that she suspiciously never allowed his hand to touch once the lights went out and the world went quiet. The metaphorical bomb finally detonated in the suffocating, heavy stillness of 3 a.m., violently shattering the fragile, synthetic peace of their shared life. There, buried deep beneath the deceptive surface of the bathroom trash, lay a crumpled, discarded receipt. Not for prenatal vitamins, ultrasounds, or life-sustaining supplements, but for a high-end, theater-grade silicone prosthetic meticulously designed for total human deception. In that agonizing moment of clarity, the frantic, rhythmic ticking of the 6-month lie finally stopped with a deafening thud. Julian didn't scream, break glass, or lash out in a blind frenzy. The absolute crushing silence that filled the sterile room was infinitely louder and more terrifying than any roar of visceral rage. As he stood motionless in the jagged shadows, watching her sleep with the calm of a saint, the woman he once worshipped as the glowing mother of his child transformed into a dangerous, predatory stranger with a hollow, calculated core. The trap had snapped shut with lethal, metallic precision. But Elena had forgotten one terrifying, ultimate truth. A cornered man will gladly burn the entire house to the ground and dance in the ashes just to find the blinding light of the exit. There were to be no more elaborate, suffocating lies, and no more chasing the hollow ghosts of a future that was never meant to be. Julian stepped out into the biting, unforgiving gray of the morning air, exhaling a breath he felt he'd been holding for 6 agonizing months as he left the shattered remains of the family he once cherished behind in the smoldering wreckage of her betrayal. He didn't look back at the glass-walled fortress that had become his psychological tomb. His footsteps heavy on the gravel, marking the rhythmic cadence of a final, irreversible departure. Elena sat paralyzed on the cold mahogany stairs of the foyer, her carefully constructed mask completely disintegrated, her eyes hollow and dry as she watched her only remaining leverage, the man she tried to cage, drive away into the thick, indifferent fog. The agonizing truth remained. A love built on the shifting sands of a lie is nothing more than a ticking time bomb buried in the heart of a home. And today, with a deafening final click, the clock finally hit 0, leaving only the cold ash of what could have been.